Whatever you hope that everybody is fine. Today I'm going to discuss about important topic of organic chemistry, which is from chemistry second paper, and organic chemistry has been discussed in this chapter, chemistry second paper, second chapter. Okay. So in this chapter you will able to know about the classification of organic compound, and you know that the compound which contain carbon and hydrogen is called shortly hydrocarbon or organic compound. So if you get the organic compound, you will easily get that there the presence of carbon and hydrogen, that's why it's called hydrocarbon. So hydrocarbon means the presence of carbon and hydrogen. And a common compound which is methane, you were studying it from your at least class 6, that is carbon, hydrogen, CH4, it's called methane. So it's a common compound. It's also a organic compound. So this organic compound is classified into two parts, and one is aliphatic hydrocarbon and other is aromatic hydrocarbon. So in your basic class you will be able to know about aliphatic hydrocarbon. Aliphatic hydrocarbon, if I want to discuss about the first radical, which is called alkane. Okay, so alkane, the general formula of alkane is CnH2n plus 2. You can take as the value of n is 1, and the value of n is 1, and H2 into 1 plus 2. So it will be, the value of n is 1 and plus 2. So it will be CH2 and the 2 plus 2, that means 4, which is called methane. Okay. If you take the value of n is 2, it will be C2H2 into 2 plus 2. That is C2H2 to the 4 plus 2, that means 6. So this is ethane. Okay. So methane, ethane, and if you take the value of n is 3, then it will be propane, like that, C3H2 into 3 plus 2. That means C3H3 to the 6 plus 2, that means 8, that is called propane. Like this, butane, pentane, hexane, heptane. Okay. Then you have to know about alkene. Okay, alkene. So in alkene, there is a formula of CnH2n. CnH2n. Okay. The difference between alkane and alkene, there will be the presence of double bond. In alkene there are double bond, but in alkane there are single bond. That means the value of n is 2, because of if you want to take double bond you will need at least 2 carbon. That's why the value of n is 2, not 1. C2H2 into 2, that means C2H2 to the 4, and this is called ethene. Alkene, the first member is ethene. Like that, propene, butene, pentene, hexene, heptene. Okay. So if you get the structure, we'll get C, carbon carbon double bond, and we know the valence of carbon is 4. So 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So hydrogen, and there is also hydrogen, C2H4, that is C2H4. Okay. So C2H4, that is called ethene, and if I want to write propene, the value of n will be C3H2 into 3, C3H3 to the 6, that is called propene. So propene, butene, pentene, hexene, and if I write this propene, it will be like C single bond C, and here will be one double bond. So 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and 1 2 3 4. So if you calculate the number of hydrogen, it will be C3H1 2 3 4 5 6 H6, that is propene. So butene, pentene, like that. If I take the third one, which is alkyne, the formula of alkyne is CnH2n minus 2. CnH2n minus 2. The value of n will be C2, H2 into 2 minus 2. Here is also at least 2 carbon, because in alkyne there are triple bond in between carbon. There will be triple bond. Okay, so C2 H2 into 2 minus 2, C2 H2 2 then 4 minus 2, that means it will be C2 H4 minus 2, that means 2, C2 H2. So carbon there will be triple bond, so just one bond is left. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. That means we can understand that because of the triple bond, hydrogen is being decreased. Okay, so if you take the value of n is 3, that means C3H2 into 3, it will be C3 minus 2, H 3 2 the 6, 6 minus 2, that means 4, C3H4, that is called propine. How to write this? 1 C, there is also C, 3 C, 1 2. Okay, so there will be one triple bond, and if we notice that 1 2 3 4, okay, this carbon is complete. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. That means to complete the bond I have to take hydrogen. So by this way this formula is consistent. Okay, so propine, butane, pentane, hexane, heptane, octane. Okay, then there is an important radical which is called alkyl, CnH2n plus 1, CnH2n plus 1. If you take the value of n as 1, 2 into 1 plus 1, CH1 is useless, 2 1 is 2 plus 1, that means CH3. And you know the bond of carbon is 4, and one bond is left still now, and it's blank. So that's why it's called also radical, and it's interested to make bond with another thing. That's why it's called alkyl. And the first member of alkyl is methyl. Okay, so if you take the 2 as the value of n, it will be C2H2 into 2 plus 1, C2H2 2 0 4, 4 plus 1, that is 5, C2H5, that is called ethyl. And if you take the value of n is 3, it will be propyl, butyl, pentyl, heptyl, hexyl, এরকম. Okay, so to make you understand easily, I can take another radical which is called alcohol, OH, alcohol, and I can write it as like OH. Okay, so it's also a radical. There is one blank bond which is needed to make bond with another radical. So if I take the methyl and if I take the alcohol, if you notice that I can use this to make another compound, C3OH. You can write like this, OH, but it's not necessary. You can write easily like this, C3OH. That is called, it's called methyl and it's alcohol. So it's called methyl alcohol or methanol. It's called methyl alcohol or methanol. Okay. And if you take the ethyl, it will be C2H5OH. It is ethanol or ethyl alcohol. Ethanol or ethyl alcohol. Okay. And if you take propyl C3H7, that will be propyl alcohol or propanol. You can write like this: CH3, CH2, CH2OH. So it's called propanol or propyl alcohol. And next it will be butanol or butyl alcohol. And there is another radical which is called aldehyde, CHO. The structure is like this: C double bond O, single bond hydrogen, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 1. That means oxygen balance is 2, that's a double bond, and carbon 4, 1 2 3 4, and hydrogen balance is 1, that's why one bond. Okay, so it's called aldehyde. And if you take aldehyde with this methyl, it will be, there are 2 carbon, that's why it's called ethanol or ethanaldehyde. You know that the name is aldehyde, that's why ethanaldehyde or ethanol. Okay, so if you take CHO with just one hydrogen, it will be methanaldehyde or methanol or formaldehyde, and the 40% of this formaldehyde is called formalin, very common compound and a very common name, formalin, and it's worked as preservative, you know that already. So it's called ethanaldehyde, and it will be said, if you take ethyl with this aldehyde, it will be propanaldehyde. If I write again, CH3, CH2, CHO, it's called propanaldehyde. So I think that this class will help you a lot to understand the organic chemistry. So no more today. You will practice it more and more. Hope that in our next class we'll discuss about another topic of this organic chemistry. Okay, Allah Hafiz.